KWTX News 10 Primetime starts now.
It was a tremendous blast. It felt like a bomb exploded. I would tell you that was the first thought that went through my mind.
One dead, at least a dozen wounded after an explosion at a Central Texas hospital. Thank you for joining us. I'm Justin Early. We want to show you right now what things look like in Gatesville tonight. Take a look at the impact. Officials say the blast occurred just before 2:30 at a part of the hospital that has been under construction for more than a year at Coryell Memorial in Gatesville. We have team coverage tonight across Central Texas. The one person killed and those injured were all construction workers.
Approximately 3 p.m. this afternoon, there was a construction accident we believe a construction accident at Coryell Memorial Hospital. People were burned. There were some serious injuries. They have been evacuated to Parkland and other various hospitals along with other patients.
Right now, many of those injured are at Baylor Scott & White Medical Center in Temple. It is the only level 1 trauma center in Central Texas. That is where we find News 10's Alex Cano live tonight with more. Alex.
That's right. 9 of those injured in the explosion were taken here at Baylor Scott & White. 7 of them were listed as critical, but the hospital is asking for help. Even though this is a level 1 trauma center, some of the victims will be transferred to San Antonio and Austin for treatment. Now, blood donations were being accepted until about an hour ago, but people are being asked to come back out at 8 a.m. tomorrow to donate. At a press conference earlier today, they tell us some of the injuries include extreme burns to the face and chest, and 2 have already been flown to Parkland Hospital in Dallas.
One of them was very severe. It wasn't just burn. Due to the explosion, this individual suffered crush injuries to the head and chest. The remainder of them also suffered explosive type injuries and mainly felt blast effects or concussive effects to their face and upper chest area.
Families who believe their loved one has been transported here can call the number seen on your screen for more information. Now, the hospital says Hillcrest and Waco has received 4 patients. It's unclear when or how their conditions are. Reporting in Temple, Alex Cano, KWTX News 10.
Thank you for the update there, Alex. In the town of 12,000, the hospital shares its campus with 2 assisted living and nursing facilities. Those are the Oaks at Coryell and the Meadows. The blast was so intense, power was knocked out for the west side of the city and forced those of the hospital and the living area to evacuate. Many found shelter at local churches. Our Rissa Shaw is live tonight. Rissa.
Justin, Coryell Community Church is one of several churches housing patients tonight, but it's been a very complicated process. Most of the 150 patients who called the Coryell Memorial Health System home were in nursing homes and clinics, and those people have special needs, including wheelchairs and medicine, which had to be transported before the patients arrived. We spoke to a chaplain who is checking on his patient at First United Methodist Church earlier today.
Coryell Community Hospital, the Meadows, the Oaks, the Welcome Program is a big part of Gatesville, and so it's going to be a tremendous effect on that facility.
Today's heat also had a tremendous effect on rescue efforts, so ice and water were a big deal. The local HEB, along with volunteers, brought some in to make sure patients and nurses stayed hydrated. Now, things have cooled down and calmed down tonight. No word yet on when some of those facilities, including the Meadows, will be reopened, but the Meadows, I know, reportedly has a fair amount of damage. Reporting live in Gatesville, Rissa Shaw, KWTX News 10.
Rissa, thank you. Well, now we know the state fire marshal will lead the investigation into exactly what caused this explosion. With power knocked out at the hospital, many being treated there before the blast had to be moved. And we've learned Goodall Witcher Hospital in Clifton confirms it took in 12 patients. A lot of questions remain. Our John Carroll is one of the first at the scene. He joins us now live with more there. John?
Here at the scene in Gatesville, here at the Coryell Memorial Hospital, what we can tell you now is you're right, the situation has very much calmed down. In fact, we were expecting lights to begin to light up with as they began to bring them in for The investigation, this roof literally collapsed on this building that they were constructing, killing at least one and injuring at least 12 others. And what we can simply tell you is that the damage was so severe that we've even got new video tonight that we'll be showing you later on at 10 o'clock tonight of the water tower, huge tall water tower in Gatesville that is about 2 to 3 blocks behind the hospital with debris all over it. The blast was so big, and they really don't know exactly what caused that blast. In the press conference this afternoon, emergency management said possibly that blast was caused by some gas explosion, but we just know that the building that was that exploded was one that was being worked on by construction workers. It had been under construction since 2016, and they're not exactly what happened and not sure exactly how many were under there. They did bring a dog crews in from Austin to check the building behind us, and I saw them leave about an hour ago. And so the investigation will continue, and I talked to the sheriff tonight, and he says, John, this is not going to be a few days and get things back up. This is going to be weeks and possibly months. 11 o'clock, 11:45 press conference is going to be held tomorrow to keep us updated. Justin?
Thank you, John. Again, to recap all of this, construction personnel were impacted by the blast behind the hospital today. So no hospital patients were injured at that point. One person has died. Coryell Memorial officials report 12 others injured, but the count from other hospitals that received patients stands at 15. Patients who were being treated at Coryell Memorial before the explosion have been taken to the Goodall-Witcher Hospital in Clifton, and those being cared for at the Oaks at Coryell and the Meadows assisted living and nursing home facilities have been taken to other locations around the city. Tonight, there is still no word on a cause. Now, this is still a very fluid situation, and for the latest details out of Gatesville, be sure to head to our website, kwtx.com, and our social media pages. Continuing our coverage now of the deadly hospital explosion in Gatesville, we know at least one person is dead and at least a dozen others injured after the explosion behind the Coryell Memorial Hospital. Many of those victims have burn injuries or crush injuries. Our News 10's Tara Mergener is live in Gatesville tonight. Tara?
Justin, the explosion happened not far from where these construction trucks are behind me, not far, kind of off to the side and on the other side of this building that you can't really see right now here in the dark. This is as close as we are allowed to get right now. The hospital has no power, it's got no gas, and damage is obviously very extensive. Now, this all started about 2:30 in the afternoon, and county officials tell us it's going to take weeks, even months, to fully get this hospital reopened. Now, all patients have been relocated to other hospitals at this point. Now, several hours after the blast, this is still a very active scene. Crews are making sure everyone is accounted for and assessing this damage. As for the victims, at least 12 people are injured. One has died. All of them are construction workers. They were working on a new part of the building when the blast happened this afternoon. One witness says a generator exploded. Authorities say a gas line may also have been involved.
And my mom is a nurse. She used to work here, but now she works at the prison. And so we both got a text at the same time. So we ran over here, and we were stuck in the traffic, so my mom literally hopped out of the car and ran. And she ran inside. I guess she's in there evacuating people and helping people.
Well, again, tonight, crews are still out here, investigators too, trying to piece this whole tragedy together. We've also learned that at 11:45 tomorrow morning, there will also be another press conference at Commissioner's Court, and we hope to learn a lot more then about how this event unfolded, how it happened, and the conditions of the victims at this point. And for now, we are live in Gatesville. Justin, back to you.
Thank you, Tara. We'll check in again at KWTX News 10 at 10, of course. Well, again, construction personnel were impacted by the blast behind the hospital today. No hospital patients were injured, according to the CEO of Coryell Memorial. We know one person has died. Also, Coryell Memorial officials report 12 others injured, but doing a count from the other hospitals, it appears they've received about 15 patients total. Patients who are being treated at Coryell Memorial before the explosion have been taken to the Goodall-Witcher Hospital in Clifton, and those being cared for at 2 other locations, a nursing home and an assisted living center that were on sort of the premises of that hospital, have moved to other locations around the community. Still no word on a cause. Rusty.
Okay. Well, you know, it's a clear and it's a warm night ahead with southerly winds staying pretty breezy, and then we're going to see another couple of days at 100 degrees. Our mornings are going to stay in the middle 70s, so they'll stay fairly warm. Days are going to be hot even when the temperatures fall below 100 degrees. The added humidity is going to force the heat index above that. But at least we got one thing working for us, those breezy south winds, and they'll keep to ventilate us a little bit.
Sounds good, Rusty. Thank you very much. We are back tomorrow night. Of course, join us as well for KWTX News 10 at 10. Good night.